We welcome to the program Senator Scott DeLano. He represents Senate District 50, which incorporates Harrison County. Senator, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, too. How are you doing today?
Doing great. All right, so we got elections on tap just a week away. And the top of the ticket, in particular, that race for the governor's mansion, that features incumbent Governor Republican Tate Reeves and, of course, his Democratic challenger Brandon Presley, has really been heating up of late. What do you think at this point? What are you hearing?
Well, I know that we're all in a bubble and we pay attention to this stuff a lot, especially the press that comes out on our nation or on our statewide news sources. When I talk to people here on the coast, I think there are people that are still extremely glad that Tate Reeves has been our leader for our state for the last 4 years. They're still invigorated to go out and vote because we do have some other races that are on the ballot. But they know how well Tate Reeves has been for the Gulf Coast over the past, well, frankly, the last 10 years. He's been very, very strong for the coast, and we know that he has been a friend of the coast. We see that. He's been a friend for the state of Mississippi, and I think that's the most important thing. We have a momentum on the coast. We have a momentum on our state, and it's just mind-boggling to me that it's really even this close after all the success and all of the wins that we can claim throughout our government, our state government's leadership.
And I think the governor has done really a good job every time I've been able to see him speak, which has been several times the last few months. He points to those successes and he shares details. It's not just high-level sort of talking point rhetoric, but he gets into the weeds about accomplishments in education, in economic investment, in historic tax reform, teacher pay raises, some of the social issues, such as the prohibition of gender change surgery on minors, a bill he signed off on. So lots of accomplishments that I agree Mississippians should be pleased with. The challenger, in this case, Democratic Public Service Commissioner Brandon Presley, he seems to be trying desperately to link the governor to the whole situation there at TANF without really any empirical evidence to that effect, but he's dwelled on that. Of course, he also highlights the state's unwillingness or inability to get Medicaid expansion passed, and the governor's indicated he opposes that. Of course, that's something you know a lot about that hasn't passed the state legislature either. So we hadn't sent a bill to the governor's desk at this point. They're focused on that. Today, a press release from the state Democratic Party is highlighting the fact that Mississippi has not increased the minimum wage. Now they're on to that kick. So do you think these are I guess, sellable ideas that may, at the end of the day, propel Presley into the governor's mansion?
I think that there are some voters that watch the dysfunction in Washington and listen to all of the problems that are in D.C. and try to link that to Mississippi. And as you know, that couldn't be further from the truth, the way that our governments are worked and how we're structured so differently than our federal government. Mississippians should not just be pleased with the progress that we've made under Governor Reeves. We should be excited. We should be screaming from the mountaintops. So you can look at all the other states and across the country that are struggling with huge deficits, and we've had a very strong fiscal policy that was led by the then Lieutenant Governor Reeves. It started it when back in 2011. I'll tell you, we have a great success story. And what bothers me the most, Gerard, is that we've had this discussion in the legislature over the past couple of years about the ballot initiative and how important that process is. And one of the things, and I've been one of the senators that have been saying we've got to get this resolved, and we need to put that option back into the hands of the voters of Mississippi. But I'll to be honest with you, I'll be the first one to say that I'm watching what's happening here, and I cannot believe that the race for the governor's office has tightened up as much as it has. And you look at why and how that, where that traction is coming from, and it's those out-of-state dollars. It's the money that's coming in from California, from New York, from all of these liberal states that are wanting to pluck off Mississippi's governor's race. That's huge. That's the story that I'm taking away from this. I'm really watching how this money is influencing voter sentiment, and this is exactly what some people have been saying uh, is the reason why we should have a very high bar for that ballot initiative process. But it's just amazing to me how many people are influenced by just stuff that is nothing more than lip service. I follow a bunch of things on, or a bunch of different groups on social media, and one is Friends of PERS, and I just cannot. I just it just nauseates me to read some of the stuff that's coming out of the other camp. When Tate Reeves has a voting record, or not a voting record, but a policy record of pushing for things that have helped PERS, that have protected PERS, and for anyone else to try to come in and suggest otherwise is just nothing more than trying to flip a vote or trying to say whatever they can to get into office. But we know that we still have problems throughout our state and throughout state government, but we've got such a great momentum moving forward right now. I just can't see the voters looking the other way and going with the other option in this case.
Yeah, it's well put, and thank you for also pointing out. I certainly didn't mean to omit that in my highlighting of the successes experienced under the Reeves administration, but the fiscal condition, the financial condition of the state is the best it's ever been, honestly, and the good folks in the legislature, along with Lieutenant Governor and Governor Tate Reeves, have made sure that we didn't just squander those surpluses that have been generated the last few years.
That's
And
exactly
many
right. And
states,
as being a member of the Appropriations Committee, I know how diligently both appropriations chairmen have worked with leadership to curb spending as much as possible, even in the times of this mass inflation that we've seen throughout our government. We've kept our budget within 2 to 3, maybe 4% higher when we know that those actual real dollar costs are going up significantly for the cost of doing business throughout agencies. So that's just another testament to the strong fiscal record that we told voters that we were going to uphold. We've done it. We have a strong track record of it, and the surplus that we show at the end of each fiscal year is just an example of that, and that gives us the opportunity to provide the tax cuts where we give the money back to the people that are actually earning it. And at the same time, we are taking care of government. We just had increased teacher pay raise by the most in our state's history. That's a testament to what we're trying to do, and again, the commitment that the governor's made with workforce development. That's just the very beginning of it, K through 12. But that goes all the way through the community college board, through what Accelerate Mississippi is doing. Then it comes right back to the career coaches. You could just go down the list and you could see the efforts that have been made by this administration and by this leadership team to make sure that Mississippi is competitive in a global marketplace. And we do have the workforce here to do it for those that are wanting to take advantage of the opportunities that are here. We need to continue that, and that's something that is very, very important. We really haven't even touched on the other important things like the judicial appointments, or what happens with in a situation where one of the senators has to leave office for one reason or another. These are all things that will affect Mississippi and could affect our country as a whole. And I just wish and I hope that there is that drive, there is that momentum to get out and vote on Tuesday. I'm kind of shocked that the far right kind of disappeared after the primaries, and I really wish that they would get engaged, because we actually do have a liberal Democrat on the ticket right now that's trying to take over our state and has been able to use tens of millions of out-of-state dollars to push a narrative that is not Mississippi's narrative, that is not Mississippi's goals, and that's not for Mississippi voters. And we certainly need everyone to come out in force on Tuesday and vote for Tate Reeves.
Senator, appreciate you joining us this morning. I'm sure we'll talk some more. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You got it. We're coming right back, folks, in the Element Wealth studio. Stay with us.